Hey guys, Brent Hull. Got some really exciting news. A window into the future. Today I'm excited to talk about something that 10 years ago I didn't think was going to happen. But slowly I've been changed by some phone calls I've gotten. I got a phone call, 2 weeks ago from a lady who had a house built 15 years ago. Go over to this beautiful house in Dallas, $4, $5, $6 million house. Windows are rotting out less than 20 years after it's been built. I'm fed up. I had enough, right? Went over to a client's house 16, 17 years ago. The production windows are rotting out. So there's finger jointed wood, there's just bad details. And so slowly I've been evolving and going, gosh, those windows aren't very good looking. They don't look as good as the past. And today I'm announcing that we are going to come out with a 100-year window. Now it's right behind me and I'm going to walk you through it, but I want you to understand how I got there. The first thing we did was we looked at the past. Now, this is a book of construction details, right? It's called Building Details. Frank Snyder did it. And look at all these great architects on here. McKean, Mead, and White, right? Probably the most famous architects from the early 1900s. A number of jobs from their jobs. All these top architects, okay, they grabbed building details of their buildings, right? And some of the building details they grabbed were of windows. What we've done is we're looking at the best of the past. You might have an old house and go, oh, the window's rattly, it's not really insulated, right? You might have not a very good historic wood window. Now, the wood in it is so good it's gonna last forever, but it still can be updated. And don't compare something that's 100 years old with something that's new and go, oh, that's terrible. No, the fact that it's still there 100 years later means that it can be restored and it can last for a long time. But we want to provide a window for those people whose windows have been torn out or who want something that's going to last a long time. So we looked at these details. Now this is from the Roosevelt residence. I don't think it's the Roosevelt, but you begin to look at some details that they're doing in their double hung windows, and we learn a lot from this. For one, they've got this divider between the window weights. Now what's that about? Well, sometimes you may know if you have old windows, when you lift the weights up, they might get stuck on each other or they might rattle together when you're doing it. We've put this divider, we saw it in historic things, and we put this divider in here so that the weights don't rattle, okay, so they don't get locked up. Notice too, this whole thing's called a weight pocket, okay? And sometimes on cheap windows, you don't have a backer board on the weight pocket. Ours have a backer board on the weight pocket. Why is that? Well, sometimes you put these in masonry walls and plaster will fall down or mortar will fall down into that area and actually stop the weights from going up and down. The best of the past, right? We've had these windows tested and we know that if those windows are weather stripped properly, right? If they're fitted properly, they test really well. Now, our experience working on these historic windows over time has made me realize the value in this historic building method, right? Looking at these building methods going, if I take the best of the past and incorporate that in a new window, we have a pretty darn good window that should last 100 years. In fact, we're going to call it the 100-year window. So let me show you some of those details. First, you'll notice that this is our weight pocket, right? The weights go up and down in here. You see these chained. There's a weight hung inside here. This is what's called the weight pocket, right? Ours has a back on the weight pocket. We saw that from those historic photos. Nothing's going to be able to get down in here. We've got a very clean weight pocket going forward. Our hardware is brass. We've got the chain that holds the pulleys. You can also do rope. It's double hung, right? So we've got an upper and a lower sash. It's weather stripped. We've discovered that when a window is weather stripped properly, it actually performs really well. So we've got a grooved weather stripping. We got our weather stripping at the check rail, which is this piece that runs across. And when this locks down, right, and I close this, boonk, right? It closes really sharp and tight, and it's gonna test really well. This is a double hung, right? Which means the upper and lower sash both work, right? And so single hung, if it's only one sash works. Double hung, right? You don't have to get it that way. We've got these weather stripping details that tighten this window up. Now, you might say, well, where's the insulated glass, right? When you consider that, you might have 20% of the wall space in your whole house, ceiling and everything else as glass, to spend money on insulated glass doesn't make sense for a lot of people. We're in the South, right? where the median temperature is 68 degrees here, we don't have a heat loss problem, which is what insulated glass does. We have a heat gain problem. So it's much more important for us to put window films on our glass so that the heat gain can't come in and heat up our houses. There's really good window films that are used in museum settings and don't look like a mirror, right? You can barely tell they're even on there. I can't, in good conscience, build a 100-year window and put insulated glass in because I know that glass won't last very long. I know that there are manufacturers today that love insulated glass because that means they can replace windows every 15 years. You know that the major manufacturers, the big production manufacturers, majority of their windows being built today are for replacement windows, okay? They're not replacing original windows, they're replacing their own windows. There are landfills full of trash, right, of this thing. When we talk about sustainability, how long something's gonna last, this is a green, sustainable product because it's going to last so long, right? There's nothing in here that's going to fail. And why do I know that? Because we've been restoring buildings that are 100, 150 years old, and those windows still work exactly like this. So I'm really excited about sharing this stuff because we're taking the best of the past. It's going to test really great, okay? We're going to have updated statistics on that, updated data. We're building our profile sheets. If you're interested, info@brenthull.com. Send us information. We'd love to talk to you about historic windows. Love to talk to you about building a 100-year window for your house. And wouldn't it be great that for not much more money, right? Because our prices are amazingly pretty competitive for how cheap those products are, you can have a 100-year window. All right, guys, so the 100-year window, I'm really excited about it. I think it solves a lot of problems. I think it provides solutions for people who are sick of the cheap production windows. Finally, your clients can invest in something that you know is going to last for 100 years. Follow me on Instagram, Facebook. I'm Brent Hull. Thanks for watching.